Hey guys, Daniel here from RX Smart Gear Australia. The CrossFit Open is around the corner. It's a great time for you to brush up on your double unders if you're needing to change your cable over from all the work you've been doing on your double unders this year. Now is the time. I wanted to go through the differences on our jump ropes, what ropes to use throughout the Open depending on where you're at, and what's actually going to be suitable depending on whether you have a little bit more money to invest into or whether you're a competitor or not. So let's just start at the base level, the original RX. So the original RX comes in a cloth bag. We have the cable and handle, the ergonomic pinch points being on the handle. It's a plastic handle wrapped with whatever color handle tape that you like. The cable comes in 4 weights, so the buff is the heaviest. That's for 0 to 50 double unders, and then it goes lighter through elite, ultra and hyper. You can get all those cable weights on all of our ropes throughout the Evo range and the original RX. Now if you're just an entry-level athlete, the original RX is going to be perfect for you. With the cable changeover, it can be used on somebody who has got no double unders and doing single unders, and for the scale version of the Open you usually only have to do single unders, so that's perfect. But it also accommodates for people who do unbroken sets of 75 plus, 100, 200, whatever. The quality of our base level rope is outstanding. As you can see, just a light spin there, and it is going to be spinning like a dream. It's nice and comfy to use. We do encourage the pinch points to be used, and then nice and easily wrap our fingers around the handle, and nice loosey-goosey kind of with our spin of the wrist and using our elbows. Perfect entry-level rope. You'll be using that for years. You can change the cable over as you improve. So if you were to get a buff, once you get 50 unbroken, you can then change over the cable all the way through to getting 7500 plus unbroken. The original RX is fantastic for you. If you're a competitor, you should seriously be looking at upgrading to an Evo speed rope. There are 3 types of Evos, which I'm going to explain. You have the G1, the Go, and the G2, all of which have distinct differences. So going just to the G1 to start off with, comes in its own hard case. This was the original technology. It is an aluminium handle now, so a little bit of a feel and weight difference between them. Again, it's available with all of the cables, buff all the way through to hyper. It can also come with bare wire cables as well. You have that option there. But if you're actually at this level, you should be looking at going for the lighter cables. So the ultra, hyper, speed metal is the type of cable weight that you're looking at. In terms of speed, there's 2 open bearings in the handle. Spin wise, it's definitely got a different sound. Put a spin into it, and that's going to spin for a couple of minutes by itself. Okay, so what you're looking at there, a lot of people refer to the fastest speed rope. We've got the fastest speed rope, whatever. This is a smooth speed rope. So when you have a smooth speed rope, what that's going to do is remove the friction. So when you're removing the friction, it's going to be gliding smooth. It's going to be easier to turn. So when you see that it is spinning as easy as that, it's actually less work for you to get around. Now, with that in mind, you need to have the correct cable length for your abilities, and we always encourage you to go shorter with your cable length. So a shorter cable has a shorter radius, therefore it's a shorter circumference, takes less time to get around the body, therefore less effort, etc, etc. So having a Evo speed rope as a competitor or somebody who wants to really take it up a notch in the Open is going to be next level for your single unders and double unders, so for both users there. So fantastic rope, great technology. Now the Go, if we go over to the Go, we see that the difference here is, that's still spinning by the way, the difference here is the length of the rope. The other thing is, in addition to that, we've got the knurling. So with that knurling there, and it being a little bit shorter, that creates that pinch point, which can be a little bit more grip on there. So if you're a little bit of a sweater, that's going to be helping you a little bit more. You've got the traction bands again. I find when I hold the rope that with holding it near the tip, it gives you better direction. Okay, so with the Go, the shorter handle, you've got less latitude in which to actually go down the handle, but it is going to give you more control. Why would you go for the Go over the G1? Well, it's shorter and lighter. it has the knurling as well. So if that's something that you like, you're used to having a shorter handle, the Go is definitely a great option to work with. It also gives you less room for error. So because you have a shorter handle means your direction is going to be better. However, you can't actually extend the length of the rope by taking your hand back a little bit more. Okay, so that's the Go. Again, the same bearing mechanism that you have in the G1 there. Okay, that also comes in its own pocket size case. Last of all, we have the G2. Okay, so the G2, to explain the difference between the Go and the G1, basically the same length as the G1, and then you have the knurling of the G2, and then a updated pinch points. So pinch points are going to be of a different design, so a little bit of a different design. The shape of it has been updated a little bit better. You still have the traction bands on top and bottom there, and you have the matte finish. So you have the knurling back and up near the tip. When I use this rope, I'm going to be using it, pinching it up near the tip here rather than on the bands, so up near the tip, and you can go and get it rotating that way. If you wanted to adjust that, you do have the option to go back a little bit. So whereas with the Go, you've pretty much only got a centimetre or so to work with. It's an updated head mechanism in there, just as fast as the G1 and the Go. As you can see, it spins just the same. It's a little bit of a weight distribution difference as well. It's weighted a little bit heavier at the front, so it is going to help with the rotation of the cable. So overall, it's a more refined version of the Evo, working on the good points that we've had on the G1 and the Go. Okay, if you're a competitor, absolutely, definitely, you need something like the G2, or if you, well, there is a price difference between the two. If you don't have the budget for the G2, go down for the Go or the G1. But that being said, each one of these ropes is an investment. You can update any of the bearings, refurbish them. It is an open bearing, so there's no lubricants. So if you need any assistance on that, you can just send it back and change them over, and there you go, you've got a brand new spinning rope. So the only other thing is to mention is bare wire cable versus the coated. So the Hyper Ultra would be what you'd be wanting to use if you're a competitor on all of the Evos. The bare wire cable is going to cut through the air a little bit quicker. However, the only real major difference between the weights, let's take the Hyper for example. The Hyper and the Speed Metal is basically the same weight. When we look at the bare metal cable, if you do have any wear there, with it being just bare metal, the whole wire is going to unloop. Okay, whereas with the PVC cable, again, same weights, just got a coating on it. That is going to hold the cable in place. All right, so this is more in line again with a competitor using it. You have a smaller margin for error. If at any time that the cable breaks, you can go and change it over straight away. Okay, so one other thing with the head unit, there is no screws. There's nothing that can come loose during the middle of a workout in there. Everything in our cables is swaged in our warehouse and then connected on to a split ring and then onto the head unit. So it is secured in place there. It is made to length as well. So refer to our size chart if you do have any questions on the length that you need. But that being said, we always encourage people to go shorter with their rope if they can. Okay, again, shorter cable, less contact with the floor, shorter radius, shorter circumference, therefore more efficient, etc., etc. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of information about the differences between the ropes. Any questions, by all means leave them below. Ask us questions on the differences if we haven't answered anything. But yeah, go out and get it, guys. Good luck in the open, and hope everyone goes well.